Good morning, everybody. So this is what we're doing today. This is not what I wanted to do today. What I wanted to do was go up to the property and mow. But when I got off work yesterday, I picked some green beans, and I can't let them go to waste. So I've got the pressure canner sitting here. There's the lid, and the dishwasher is running with the jars in it. I have to wait until 7 o'clock to go to the store. I'm using wide mouth jars for this little project today. My mom and dad brought me some, and I don't have any lids for it, so I got to go to the store. But I have to wait till 7 o'clock because Walmart isn't open 24 hours anymore. So we'll just go through the process of canning these green beans. Alright, I'm back from the store. While I was there, I got a couple of onions. I'm going to throw some onions into this batch and see how that works out. But what I need to do is put a little water in this pan, because the lids have to be hot when you put them on the jars. So I'm going to put some water in there. Grab the rings. It's a good thing I'm not using the smallmouth jars because they didn't have any lids for those. So hopefully they get more before I need to use pint-sized jars. And these don't fit in there quite as good as the others, so that's lovely. I don't think I'll need more than 4 or 5. There's definitely not as many green beans as there was last time. Of course, that was the 3rd time I've picked green beans too, so it's not bad. Alright, so this is going to go on the burner and heat up. I'm going to turn up the heat on everything. Let's see, what am I doing? Oh yeah, need a cutting board. Everything's in the dishwasher, all nice and steamy. The jars are supposed to be hot, so they don't bust when you put them in the boiling pressure canner water. I really don't know how much onions I'm going to put in each one, but I guess we'll just throw some in there until it looks good. I was going to get Vidalia onions because they're sweet, but I just don't know how that would taste in green beans. So not doing any rhyme or reason with these onions. I don't want to cry on the camera. I feel like it's already starting. Ooh. That might be enough. I don't know. That water's got to boil. So let me get you over here. Got the onions cut up. This water has to boil. You'll have to excuse Gizmo. She can't stand it when there's cats outside. So this water is going to go in the jars, inside the jars with the green beans. And this is the pressure canner. It's trying to boil, so we can put the lid on it and bring up the pressure. So I need this water to boil before I can fill the jars. Alright, so by the time we get these jars filled up, the water should be boiling and ready to dump it in there. I've got the onions chopped up there, and I'm going to set the camera up right here, and we'll just start filling them up. Green beans. I've got this nice little funnel. Supposed to fill them up about a ½ inch, well, an inch from the top. And I'll dump a few onions in the middle. Hopefully I did enough jars. There we go. I've cut both ends off the green beans and cut most of them in half except for the small ones. Well, looks like I'm going to need a couple more jars. This funnel's mostly for smallmouth jars, but it's what I have. The first batch I didn't put onions in. I didn't really think about it. I could put bacon in there too, but I'm just trying to get this done. I'll have to look, find out if you're supposed to cook the bacon first. Although they process for 25 minutes, so shouldn't need to cook it first, but I don't know. And I'm just trying to get this done and over with. If I can get this done, then I won't have to, or not that I won't have to, but I might be able to go up to the property today still to get some stuff done. It rained last night, so I don't have to water the garden. I watered one of the gardens last night after I put the green beans. And then I watered the other one a little bit, and then I decided that it was really close to bedtime and I didn't want to, I just wanted to go to bed. I was tired. Worked all day, came home, cooked some, well, I didn't cook, Carla cooked. She's pretty good about that. And the water's boiling, so I did time it just right. So, also a teaspoon of salt in each jar. For quarts, I think it's a ½ teaspoon for pints, which would make sense. Okay. Water is boiling. I'm going to put the lid to the canner right here. I'm going to scooch the boiling water over here so you can see what I'm doing. Put the hot holder thingy there. Cut that off. Bring this over here. I got this ladle from my mom. That's been used for everything. I think it's supposed to be white, but it's stirred all kinds of jelly. Same with the water. About an inch from the top. Not much to say right now. I'm hoping that my internet works a lot better. Part of the reason I haven't really been making any videos is because I'm extremely frustrated with our internet service. And so irritated that I told them where they could go the other day. And we now have new internet service. The old internet service was, and I really didn't know, that's all that was available when we moved here 13 years ago, almost exactly 13 years ago. And it was still ran through the phone line. And that explains why it's so slow. So every time I upload a video, it would take more than 24 hours for every video that I've uploaded so far. It took over a day for it to upload. And during that day that it was uploading, our phones weren't working properly. We couldn't watch Netflix or anything. It was horrible. So this one, while we were at it, we canceled our TV service as well. Ever since we got the floor installed in the den, we haven't watched TV. Never hooked it back up. Never watched it. And I moved the TV in our bedroom so we can watch a little bit of Netflix before we go to bed. And it's working out fine for us. It's supposed to use a plastic spoon for this, obviously because it's a glass jar. Next step is to just kind of go down the sides here. Get all the air bubbles out. I've had the burner on for the pressure canner for well over an hour and it's still not boiling yet. It's a good thing we have solar power. Otherwise, the electricity bill would be ridiculous when I do this stuff. Alright. Now let's get rid of this pan. Still need a hot water thing. Need a fork. Lids are boiling. sure these are clear of any water or salt. Anything that could stop the seal from doing its thing. Alright. These are extremely hot. Ouch. Definitely didn't expect to get 5 quarts out of this. I mean, the last batch was 7 quarts. Hot. Very hot. I don't know why I set that plug down. Okay. Alright. Like I said, the water still isn't boiling. So it'll be a few minutes and then I'll show you that process. So these are some little grabbers that I also got from my mom. They just grab onto the jars so they don't slip out of your hand and you can drop them down into hot water. So I'll put them in there. As you can see, it's kind of steaming some, but I want to put these jars in there before they cool down. The instructions on the canner say always fill, no matter how many jars you're canning, always fill this canner up to about here, and I think that says 3 gallons. I think it's 3 gallons of water. But you always want to put these in here before them jars cool down, otherwise they're going to crack. And I know that from experience. I could probably fit 1 more jar in there, so there's 5 in there. Alright, now I'm just going to wait for it to boil and then put the lid on and wait for the pressure to come up. While we're waiting for that to boil, might as well come out here and show you the garden. So, we pulled up the beets, they were right here, and radishes were right here, but when I pulled up the radishes, I planted green beans directly after. So, and I've already got green beans on there. I haven't picked any of them. So these are the peppers. Oh gosh, there's so many of them. The plants keep falling down. Look at all of them. And I picked some. Got lots of jalapenos. And a nice big cabbage. This is the green bean plants that I've been picking from. I've picked from them 3 times now. One time was just picking a mess so we can have some with supper. And then 2 other times, obviously, for canning. These are Brussels sprouts. They have not Brussels sprouted yet. Still waiting. And tomatoes. Look at the tomatoes. Just tons and tons of tomatoes. More green beans. And as you saw, I picked some okra yesterday. I guess I'm just going to put those in the freezer until I get enough. Abigail really wants me to pickle them, so I'm going to pickle them, I guess. I don't know. And our cherry tomatoes, look at all of them. There's some down there that are ready. They just keep on keeping on. Some more tomatoes. Let's see if I can get a good shot of these other peppers. Now we're at the back garden. More tomatoes. I'm gonna have to make lots of salsa, possibly spaghetti sauce. There's a couple of them that got, I don't know, pecked by a bird or something. But they never got ate on or pecked since, and they've healed up, so I'm just gonna cut that off. I got more jalapenos back here that are producing. These two are my zucchini plants. And my butternut squash is coming out with little squashes on the outside of the fence. You really can't tell the difference. There's cucumbers, 2 cucumber plants and 2 butternut squash plants. And they have taken up this whole area, winding around the zucchini, and also coming over here and winding around the corn. There's a cucumber right there, almost ready. Ooh, and I see another one back there that's almost ready. So, yeah. Yep. So back here in my yard, I had to mow a spot for the cable company to bring us internet, but that's not why we're back here. So I have blackberries, wild blackberries, and I have allowed this to grow up because I kind of want to make blackberry something. Yeah, it's going to be more work taking it down. Hi, chickies. Hi, chickens. Look at them. Just scratching at the grass. I move them every day so they have fresh grass. Got a little off subject there. I love my chickens, and Carla really likes them too. This over here is really grown up, and I just made a decision that I'm gonna let it grow because the amount of blackberries in here, I just want them. Wild blackberries are amazing. Look at all of them. Just waiting for them to get ripe. And this rain that we're supposed to have will help make them nice and plump. There we go. Alright, let's go see if it's boiling. Okay, it's been like an hour and it's still not at a rolling boil. So I'm going to put the lid on it and see if it's going to build up pressure. I had a little problem with it building up pressure before. It took a long time, and my goal was to be patient enough to let it rolling boil so the pressure would build up quicker, but I think there's enough steam rising and enough small bubbles being produced. You can see, and every once in a while there's a big bubble that comes up. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on it and see what happens. Let's just see if I know what I'm doing here. There we go. All right. So what we're supposed to do here is wait for a couple of things. So it's got a pressure gauge on it. It has to reach 11 pounds before I start the timer. This little thing here will pop up when pressure starts building up. And this is where the pressure comes out. And this you put on there to hold the pressure in. So when a bunch of steam starts coming out that little pipe there, that's when I put the weight on top of there and it starts building pressure. And once it reaches 11 pounds, that's when I start the timer, and I have to maintain that 11 pounds. So I'll have to turn the burner down a little bit and make sure that it maintains 11 pounds for 25 minutes. If it goes below 11 pounds, then I have to start the timer over again once I get it back up to 11 pounds. It's kind of a little tricky situation, and as you can see off to the side there, there's the little pipe there is bubbling. But I need this to pop up as well. So we'll just see what happens. Since there was bubbles coming out the pipe, I went ahead and put the weight on there. So we're just going to see how long it takes. I need this little mechanism to pop up, and as you can see, there's some moisture around it. It just kind of spits out some bubbles every once in a while. You just saw it right there. And then we got to wait for that pressure to come up. It's a learning process. As soon as I put the lid on it, it started boiling hard. You can kind of hear it. And that little tab is about ready to pop up. And there it went. Now the pressure should start building up on the dial there. This thing's already up to 5 pounds. Not much longer and I can start the timer. We're almost there. A couple more pounds of pressure and then I can start the timer. And I've turned the burner down a little bit, so we're going. Ten minutes has passed. 15 more to go. Less than 4 minutes to go. Okay, so timer's off, burner's off. Next step is to get it on a cool burner. And that pressure has to be released naturally. It has to do it all by itself. So that's what's next. Alright, the pressure is finally down. Now all I got to do is take them out and let them pop. I was outside for a little while. And 4 of them have already sealed just while it was pressuring down and cooling down. So there you have it.